Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost for many folks over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know if they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
It's time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show, and I'm glad you tuned in. This is your host, Jon Heischman. Recently, I have had several situations where referrals and radio listeners have come to me and expressed concern about making that transition to retirement. So I thought that this could be a good topic for my show this week because it is a concern, because having adequate retirement savings does not ensure a happy retirement. Retirement doesn't simply mean the absence of work. It's a whole new way of life that must be planned for. A lot of emphasis is geared towards growing money, income planning, and finances. But what about the golden years? A life without the pressure of time clocks or demand of work. Retirement doesn't mean what it used to be, because workers used to retire at age 65 and live another 10 years. Most of us can relate this to our parents or grandparents who had a life expectancy of 10 to 15 years after retirement. But today, longer life expectancies, today's retirees have better health, they're more educated, more income, and ultimately they'll have more options for having an active, fulfilling retirement than those of previous generations. As more than 76 million baby boomers continue to retire, many don't consider retirement an end, but rather a transition into a new phase of life. An active, healthy retirement is positive news. The idolized picture of life after work is not always a reality. So it's important to do proper emotional planning for this transition and work with clients to make sure they have a plan for all the leisure time that they may find themselves to have. So my planning is going to extend to this type of planning when a client is ready to retire. And at this point, a retirement plan is in place, income that they can't outlive is in place, and from a financial standpoint, they're going to be set throughout their retirement. But I have learned over the years that many emotionally are really not ready, but they find this out later in retirement. How are they going to find a sense of accomplishment, satisfaction without a job? Or how will they create a social network outside of work, staying connected with family, community, and avoiding isolation that are keys to a happy retirement? This is something that has not been brought to many retirees. And for some reason, they don't even think about what they're going to do. Now, I'm sure they have in the back of their mind, they're going to play golf, they're going to travel, but many of these things only last for a while, and they find themselves bored or not satisfied with retirement. Now, the reason I feel I am qualified to help with this part of retirement is over my career, I have seen this situation. So I've learned to talk about and be able to relate to that retiree, passing on previous experiences that my clients have had and expressed to me. And it's made me aware that this could be a problem. So I want you to address this, think about it, and put together a plan for your time during retirement. I enjoy sitting down and having a casual conversation with those that are ready to retire and pass on what I've experienced, not only from clients and people I've talked to, but friends of mine that have retired, and we've had conversations about those problems they're experiencing. Let me give you the number to call, because if I can help you, then I feel I've accomplished that part of retirement that isn't addressed and that so many people have a problem with. 888-426-0177. Again, 888-426-0177. So keep in mind, this is a little bit different approach than what you typically hear about, because, as I've mentioned earlier, what retirees or pre-retirees hear is about money. Don't get me wrong, that's pretty critical, but there's more than money that I feel a retirement planner needs to address with clients and potential clients. 888-426-0177. I'd love to hear from you. Something else that many don't realize is the extent to which they are defined by their work until they leave. There are people that thrive on structure, routine, challenges, and yes, even the stress of work. So they're going to need to discover who they are aside from their status in the workplace. So I want to urge my clients and work with them about what is retirement going to look like. And again, not only your finances, but your skills, your health, your friends, your family, your marital status, your interests and dreams. For those that are in a relationship, I think these decisions should be made in conjunction with their partner. New retirees, they need to understand that the amount of time spent together, it's going to change, as will the way they spend it. I encourage my clients to use this opportunity to become engaged and not surrender to the challenges that come with this change. And it's a big change. I want to encourage them to explore new opportunities, discover what they like, and find what it is that will excite them. to get up every morning and look forward to it, just as many did when they were working. I have clients that need guidance and direction, and possibly even discuss new skills by thinking a new way. Many will read retirement planning books, consulting firms, or solicit the advice of colleagues and friends who have already retired to help them find ways to stay encouraged after leaving their careers. Retirement planning is not a one-size-fits-all proposition, but coaching can help retirees create a realistic and fulfilling plan. And that is my goal, to help individuals set goals, know what you're going to do from all these different areas that I'm discussing. There's an advantage of being in this profession for as long as I have, from experiencing clients' concerns, relating ideas that have helped my clients.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized, so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
And I have to say, so many are busy, even more so than when they were working. They have planned, given a lot of thought, and have consulted with individuals like myself to pick up ideas that they haven't thought of. After the break, I'm going to give you some ideas for those that are going to retire but want to fill their time still working, and most will be on a part-time basis. So stay tuned. I'll return right after the break.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment.
With healthcare costs expected to continue to increase faster than the inflation rate, the time to take a look at your future healthcare is now. Not in retirement, but if at all possible before retirement. If you've already retired, it still isn't too late. A lot of the cost can be controlled. We work out a plan how to cover the increase cost that we're all going to be faced with. And believe me, I think it's probably going to be the number one increasing cost that we're all going to see in retirement. You want to talk further? You can give me a call. 888-426-0177. 888-426-0177.
Your journey through life toward retirement can be a tricky path to navigate. A poor decision can lead to serious difficulty later in life. Choosing the right path requires the right help. Let Heischman Financial Services keep you on the path to a safe and secure retirement, one that's happy and plentiful. Call them today at 1-888-426-0177 or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. Click on their Ask a Question tab and you can get the answers to your retirement questions before they lead you down a precarious path. That's Heischman Financial Services at www.heischmanfs.com. Or give them a call for a free consultation at 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show, the second part of the show this morning. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. Along with the decision of, are you ready to retire, comes the reality of a potential delayed retirement. Delayed retirement will come in two forms. One would be you're just not ready to leave the workforce, even though financially you can. And number two, you want to leave the workforce and retire, but financially you're not ready. Both are important, and as a planner, I need to review both with each client, especially if we're talking about an early retirement, because many dream of retiring at age 55, for example, maybe earlier, but unfortunately, the staggering costs that come with this dream have made it all but impossible for many of those. And the reality is that many are going to have to revert to Plan B and work longer than they had originally planned. Now, there was a recent Gallup poll that expectant retirement age has been steadily increasing since the mid-1900s and has reached a new expectant retirement age of 67. And a lot of this has to do, many seniors were hit by the recession. As far as the baby boomer generation, 40% of men were still working to age 65, compared with 20% 10 years ago. This trend is predicted to continue. So delayed retirement can be the result of a number of different factors. It could be economic and market conditions have reduced the size of the portfolio. There may be a need to retain company-provided health benefits, lack of savings, and the present debt. Possibly anxiety about having too much free time, like I talked about in the first segment of the show, as well as enjoying your work and want to continue. So it's not all bad news. Late retirement has a number of benefits, many which are financial. So we have to keep that in mind, review that, whether you can retire early or you can't. But I always point out several factors. Let's say that late retiree lives as long as anyone else does. The benefit, there are fewer years of retirement, meaning money and income that you have to plan for. There are also more years in which to accumulate savings. And one of the big ones, there's more years in which to accumulate Social Security, because we know every year you delay taking Social Security, it's going to increase. Higher payout benefits for more monthly income. Life and health insurance, as well as other benefits, usually will remain intact with your current employer. So there's another benefit. So the benefits of delayed retirement often is going to extend beyond finances if you enjoy your work, the people that you work with, and of course, if you're in good health. And I've had many meetings with clients and potential clients to where we sit down and answer these questions as far as financially, can you retire? And do you really want to retire even though you can financially? If you happen to fall into either one of these categories or both, I want you to give me a call and we can discuss your situations, your goals and objectives. And please keep in mind, there is no cost, there is no obligation. Maybe you'll become a client of mine, but I'm not expecting that. It's my way of helping as a retirement planner. 888-426-0177. That's the number to get a message to me, 888-426-0177. Okay, the trend toward retiring later, the exit from the workforce is no longer an option for many baby boomers who are now at or nearing retirement. After an extended period of economic downturn, markets have begun to rise again, but the collapse of the housing market and its impact on the stock market was felt by retirees and those approaching retirement. That means early retirement is something many can only dream about in today's environment. In fact, every person retiring earlier than expected, there are 2 people retiring later than expected. The top reasons are making up for financial losses, about 58%, and writing out the current economic situation, about 53%. So boomers are more likely than those of previous generations to take on lowest paying, what we call bridge jobs, or return to the workforce on a part-time basis rather than retiring outright. Earlier, I mentioned health insurance, and that has been a big factor in delaying early retirement. Let's say someone wants to retire at 58 and their employment did not extend health insurance coverage for retirees, then they have to obtain an individual health insurance policy in some form or fashion. And believe me, it is extremely expensive. Plus, in most cases, you have to qualify health-wise. So many have delayed early retirement until age 65. Then, as I always say, you're home free. You have Medicare Part A and B, a Medicare supplement, and very well the cost could be lower than what you were previously paying, and it's possible the benefits are going to be better. So the key is, as far as health insurance, would be to get to age 65. Our firm has the ability to shop the market, all companies, all rates, all plans that are available as far as an individual health insurance policy. And believe me, as I say, it can be expensive. And in a lot of cases, it wasn't anticipated and built into the retirement budget, which of course it has to be. So what about the future? Will the current pattern of retirement decisions hold steady? Will the aging baby boomer generation be more inclined to work past retirement age than the preceding generation? America's 77 million boomers are not increasing their savings rate as they grow older, which they should, because unless the rates change dramatically for the better, and soon, many will not have any choice but continue to work past their full retirement age. As a planner, I have to address this and look at every situation. Where are you? What have you saved? What is your risk? And work together to see if you can retire at a particular age. That's so important in retirement planning and must be addressed. So think about, where are you? When do you want to retire if you're not already retired? And then we can decide by running the numbers, putting together a plan to see if it's possible to retire when you want to. Now, if not, we'll look at some strategies that will delay your retirement for the shortest possible time frame. And in a lot of cases, from my experience, you might be surprised, and you may only have to delay retirement for 1 year, 2 years, maybe 5 years. But if you're ready and you really want to retire, it's important to find out where you're at and where you need to go. Feel free to contact me at 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show, and I'm Jon Heischman of Heischman Financial Services. Thank you for your time this morning, and be sure to tune in next week for another edition of the Safe Money and Retirement Show.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.